Okay. Hopefully that fixed it. Hopefully some of you stuck around. Sorry about that. Yeah, my internet went out for just a couple minutes, so I'm not quite sure what happened there, but hopefully we're back to normal. Just pulling up all the chats here. Alright. Hopefully we're back in business now. So we were just posing this gnome. Still here. Yay, thank you. I also appreciate y'all's tuning in and chiming in. That is really nice. I appreciate you. Alright. Like I said, I'm gonna try not to be too fussy with this pose. I always say that though. But we're really gonna try. I would say I should set a timer, but that sounds really stressful, so I'm not gonna do that. Is my overlay? Yeah. I'm good. I'm gonna bring this arm a little bit forward here. So that it's not broken. Oh, we're in symmetry. That's why they're both moving. Okay. I think I might actually make this staff a little bit taller. Hopefully I can do that without it getting too mad at me. We'll see. I made this staff yesterday and I feel like it turned out really good. I will give it a little bit, I'll reorient it a little bit, but I want to get this book positioned first. And then I will attach both of them to their respective body parts. Okay. Are you gonna get really mad if I twist you this way? I don't think so. Okay, then remove the elbow. I'll pull up a reference for this pose if I feel like I need one, but hopefully I will be able to just do it. The nice thing about having this many props is that it tends to be pretty easy to just make the guy look like he's holding him, and that is the pose. We'll see though. The other day I was really struggling to pose that wizard. Turned out okay in the end, but it really took a hot minute to get there. Okay. So right now I'm actually going to orient it so that he's holding it just square in his hand. And then I'll move the hand around. Ultimately, I'm going to have it like being open and facing the direction that he is looking, because I think that will look the best. But I want it to look like he's, because I want it to look like he's holding it and like referencing it as he's casting his spell. Now, this is the part where it can start to get a little broken looking. For some reason, character creator just really struggles with thumbs. Lord knows why. Or maybe it doesn't struggle with thumbs and I just don't get it. But like, what is going on here? I don't know. I think I didn't move the right joint. Is the problem. Am I out of touch? No. It's character creator that's wrong. Okay, that actually looks better. Alright, we're gonna have the hand. Splay the fingers out a little bit more. How long have you been making minis? Let's see. I started... This is always a funny question for me to answer because I have really lost sense of time having any meaning. But let's see. I quit my job in 2022. Yes. 2022. So how many years is that? 3? 3 years. Final answer. I started in 2021. And I was kind of just looking for something to do. I had been on a bit of an online learning kick for a while because I was unemployed for a while. Both before and during the pandemic. And so I was doing just, and so like when the pandemic hit, I was like, okay, I have got to figure out something to do with my days. Other than just like, because you can only fill out so many job applications in a day, you know? So I was looking for something to do with my time other than filling out job applications. And I had been doing a bunch of just like stuff that I was hoping would kind of help fill out my resume a little bit. I was looking for jobs in like ecology, like I got my bachelor's in marine biology. So I was kind of looking for, and I live in Seattle, so I was like, oh yeah, I'll find something. And so I was trying to like find stuff to do to kind of make my resume a little bit more impressive. Like I took a class on using GIS software, ArcMap, and on Python programming, which was cool. I would say I was decent at both of those things. I really liked learning how to use ArcMap, because I liked making the numbers look pretty. So I did some like online learning courses for both of those through Coursera. And I finished them, and that was exciting, and I was kind of looking for the next thing I wanted to do, and I had just bought a 3D printer because I wanted to print stuff for our D&D games, and I bought the 3D printer in like November of 2019. Is that right? Yeah, it was right before the pandemic, because we were still playing in-person D&D, and we wanted to print minis for our game, and so we bought the 3D printer, and so I was like looking for something new to do, and I was like, oh, well, I will like see about seeing if I could like figure out how to make my own minis for that, because originally actually what I had been doing, sorry, this turned into a bit of a rant, but anyways, this is my hill that I will die on, which is that anyone can do art, because I sure didn't think that I could do art, and then I found my medium and it turned out great. But anyways, what was I saying? Oh yeah, when we first got the 3D printer and I started just kind of like trying to mess around with like trying to make stuff, I actually downloaded Mesh Mixer, which I still use to this day, but just for like post-processing stuff. And I was kind of like trying to do if you haven't seen the software, it's got these like really rudimentary sculpting tools. But I was trying to like figure out how to like do it. And I was like, there's got to be a better way, and of course there was. So that's how I like went online. I found that like mentorship Patreon, and the rest is history. Alright, let's see if that's correct. So yeah, that was a long answer. The short answer is about 4-ish years. Okay, let's see if I got this right. Let's go. Okay. I'm going to close the hand around the staff. It's kind of a thick one, so I'm going to have to do these fingers separately. I've been trying to make these models a lot more printer friendly so they don't break quite as easily, so I wanted to make this stuff pretty hefty. For his poor little gnome hands. This is one part I do not miss about when I used to do all this posing in ZBrush with Transpose Master. Is just all of the clicking and dragging and masking of posing hands. And now it's just really simple. Okay. So I think this is looking pretty good. I just need to decide what orientation I want the staff to have in relation to the body. I am gonna have his head pointing up a little bit more because I find that tends to read better on the mini when they're looking up as opposed to this software always has them looking down. And I just don't think that looks as good. Okay. So I think I'm going to twist his arm a little bit so that it's holding the book out to the side a little bit more, because then I can kind of twist his body a little bit more and make this a little more dynamic. Not a lot, but you know, gotta have some movement. There's a decent amount of leeway here with how I twist the arm around because it's going to be covered by his robe and his cape. So if the body starts to look a little bit broken, that is fine because we've got a lot of clothes masking the fact that I was super lazy with the anatomy. Okay, make sure the head's pointing the right direction. Okay, so I've got the book kind of facing this way. I think that the head is looking, because I want it to be looking straight at me. Okay. Alright. I keep saying I'm gonna do something with this staff, and then I keep not doing it. Hello. Why aren't you moving with the thing? That's really annoying of you. Stop it. I think maybe I didn't actually anchor. Oh yeah, okay. Gotta connect to the hand and not the forearm. Alright, base right hand, that should be good. Flowbotics says hello. Hello. Hello back. How are you doing today? Okay, I think I'm just gonna give it a little bit of a twist. Sometimes if the arm is too far away from the body, it can look a little stiff. But I kind of think maybe I'll bring it forward a little bit so it looks like there's some motion to it. But if not, then I'll just bring it back closer into the body. Yeah, no, that looks worse. Like I said, when I said I wasn't going to overthink it, I lied. Alright, I think this is actually looking pretty decent. I'm going to move the... Let me see how this looks if I just kind of move the center of gravity forward just a hair. And then over a little bit. So it's really, so he's kind of leaning into the spellbook a little bit more. And then arch him a little bit more up. Yeah, I like that. The less aligned the pelvis dots are with the shoulder dots, the more dynamic it's gonna look. So I'm just kind of playing around with what direction it's best to like have them in. And we'll look at it from the top too. Maybe hide the hat first. Where is it? Here it is. I called it wizard hat, which is fine. Okay, edit pose. Oh wait. We're editing the pose for the body, not for the hat. I swear I'm almost done tweaking this pose, I promise. Alright, I think actually this is looking pretty reasonable. Yeah, I like how this is looking actually. Not actually. I was always confident that it would turn out looking great. I'm not super convinced that I love how the staff is pointed. Yeah, I think that's better. I've considered, since he's kind of got Gandalf vibes, also giving him a sword. So then we could do the whole "you shall not pass" kind of vibe, but I don't know if I'm actually going to. Oh, that cave looks great. I think it'll end up having deformed reasonably. And then the robe, I hid it because the sleeves were gonna drive me crazy and I wasn't gonna be able to see anything. Got the hat, I'm looking good, buddy. And And the cape, which I ended up detaching from the back because, again, it was going to drive me crazy. Okay, I really like this pose. So we're going to bring it back into ZBrush now. Make sure everything in ZBrush is visible. Yes. Good. Alright, I actually... yeah, okay. Send current pose to ZBrush. I didn't clear my cache before... before I started this. Hopefully it won't be a problem. Because I cleared it very recently. But if it is, that shouldn't actually be a big deal. Because I can just go in and clear it. That is something that if I do end up making a little pose tools workflow tutorial, I will definitely include, because it took me so much searching to figure out what was happening. Basically, I was doing this transfer of pose and only some of the subtools were getting actually getting posed back in ZBrush. Like the go between just was not working, but it was only for some of the subtools, and it was just maddening. And I figured out after much searching that it was a problem with the with how the plugin was like caching the subtools. But I fixed it. But man, would it have been nice if I could just like find a video that said, hey, I'm a person who's had this problem before. Here's how I fixed it. Okay. Alright. This is looking good, you guys. Got a little motion here. Alright, so... oh my gosh. Okay, I really like how this is turning out. Let me... okay, I'm gonna collapse this because I'm gonna turn off character creator because I think we're done in character creator. I think I'm trying to decide if I want to tweak the direction of the head, but I don't think I do. I think it's pointing in the right direction. Okay, so now I just need to go in and reshape how some of these subtools are. Like we've got these sleeves facing the wrong direction, and we need to go give some shape to the cape, which should all be pretty easy because everything has subdivision levels. I'm gonna hide the book for now and the staff and the cape, I think. Alright. I should be able to fix this. It's gonna take a little bit of creative masking here, but hopefully my topology is good enough that it shouldn't be too much of an issue. But I want to be able to kind of move this sleeve, or I want to be able to kind of mask the sleeve so I can move it independently. And like, because I'm not just gonna like drag this part around, because it would just get super deformed really quickly. So I'm going to try and mask it and twist it using the 3D gizmo. And I think that's going to be easier if this is just all the same poly group. Because once you get like different parts of the mesh like overlapping with one another, poly grouping just becomes really like a pain. So now I can do this and it's all nicely masked. And I can move the 3D gizmo. I'm gonna hide this cape too. And I can just twist it in the direction I want it to be. And hopefully it won't look super broken. And like I said when I was in Character Creator, like, you can see like how broken looking the body got, because we're like twisting it around a bunch. It's actually not too bad, but yeah, the arms are just absolutely broken. But it doesn't really matter because we've got all this fabric on top, and it's really just doing a lot of the work here. Oh, that's the one that we said we didn't need. Where is the one that is posed here? And like I said, this is all so nice that it's in these subdivision levels because we're doing all of this like moving around of everything. But when I go back to the high resolution, all of these details should be pretty good. I don't know, these might be messed up. I might need to just go redo them, but they'll also be really easy to simply polish and then get a flat surface again and just re-sculpt them. Go one higher though for this. Go. Yeah, So this did get a little more deformed than I think I could really go in and just smush around. So I might need to do a little bit more resculpting, but that's okay. It should be pretty easy. Pretty straightforward. Let's look at it. Oh yeah, we're looking good. Yeah, so we kind of just have to move the cloth around until it's kind of roughly arm-shaped so that it doesn't look like it's on top of an absolutely broken body. I'm also going to move it so that the bottom of the sleeve connects with the robe. Just so that when it prints, that's just one less overhang. Okay, that sleeve's looking pretty good. I am gonna have to go in and resculpt these details, but shouldn't be too much of an issue. Wait for our autosave here. Looks like the TikTok live timed out for some reason. I don't know why it does that when I'm watching my browser, but it's annoying because then the chat doesn't populate and I miss stuff. Hopefully we're still actually live. Let's see if it's all on my phone here. Make sure that it's still going, because in my browser, it's not showing that I'm live. Should I turn it off and on again? Alright, there it goes. Alright, back to this. We did lose kind of the sharpness of some of these features. So I do think for some reason we lost all of the creases that I had on here, and I'm not quite sure why. I wonder if it has something to do with what character creator did. Okay, TikTok Live is really not wanting to work. So I might just give up on it, honestly. Yeah, now for some reason when I went into character creator, it got rid of all of the creases on this subtool. So I lost a lot of that sharpness that I had before, which is annoying. So I'm just gonna try to go in and get some of that back. Alright, yeah, I'm calling it on TikTok. This is just not working. Alright, but we should still be on Twitch and Instagram and YouTube. This robe is really annoying me. I might just pull in the T-posed one and do it manually. Actually, I may just be able to go back to before I brought the pose in on this one. Okay. Now it is T-posed and I should be able to do this by hand, which is kind of annoying, but honestly, I think it'll be worth it because it was really looking a little raggedy, and this pose is not that complex for this robe, so I think that doing it manually is going to be the move. It was really getting quite deformed before. And if you have watched my streams for any length of time, you know that I like my meshes to be clean. And so this just was not doing it for me. It's not it. Yeah. This is already looking better. And, I mean, you can see how much, like, tapping and clicking I'm doing, just on this robe. So the fact that, like, I don't really have to do that for the character creator poses, you know, makes it so that I don't usually, I usually try my very best not to go in and have to, like, manually do any of this, but for this robe, it just got way too deformed for me to want to have to deal with it. Especially when it's so drapey and really quite forgiving. Got to go early today, but good luck with the rest of the stream. Thank you. Thank you for sticking around while I was dealing with all my weird little technical issues. Have a good rest of your day, and yeah, I'll see you next time. Thanks for hanging out. Alright, just gotta do the bottom now. And then I can go in after and add a few more cloth folds. I don't think I'll need a ton, but Do a few here. Oh, this is so much better. Jeez, I'm glad I didn't spend a ton of time wrestling with it before. Oh my gosh. ZBrush, please don't crash. After I just said it was looking good. Alright, well, ZBrush is, I don't think you can tell in OBS, but ZBrush is having a little bit of a fit. It does this thing sometimes where it'll just kind of glitch out and need to have a good little think for a minute. Oftentimes when it does this, it can right itself if you're just a little bit patient, so I'm gonna go on a little bit of a pause, have a little bio break here. We're just coming up on about 2 hours, so I'm actually gonna take a little break. I'll be back. Oh, yes, ZBrush. Be back. Thank goodness. Okay, I'm gonna save here though, and yeah, I am gonna go take a little bit of a break, and then we can finish. We're nearly there on this model. It's all coming together. And then, yeah, we'll finish this guy up. I'm doing a little save here. And then I'll need to decide if I want to keep streaming while I start my next model, or if I want to knock off for the day. It's kind of been a day of technical issues, so we'll see how I'm feeling. I want to stay on. I want to stream more, but we're just gonna see how I'm feeling after I get this one finished. Okay, I'll be right back. Here we go. Okay, I think the robe is looking pretty good. And the nice thing is I didn't actually have to deform any of these little details, which is nice. So that all stayed looking pretty clean. I might do a few more little fabric folds just here and there now that we've kind of established some motion, just to kind of make them look a little bit more like they're moving, or like the coat is moving with the model. I'm gonna hide this. Okay. Now gotta move the sash so that it's still hitting the waist here. There, that looks good. Okay. I think I might actually do the same thing for the shoulder cape as I did with the robe. Which is just to take it back to the T-pose and then move it, because really I barely need to touch it and it will look fine. I think I'm gonna just kind of move this so that the folds look like they're moving a little bit more. There we go. Because yeah, this got a little broken looking and I don't really want to mess with it too much, so let's bring it back. And hide the hat for just a second while I make sure that I get the orientation of this right. Should be pretty easy. Now the shoulders are pretty straight up and down, so I shouldn't actually need to move it all that much. I'll tweak it just a little bit that way. And then I can just kinda squish it. So that it's in the right shape. So now it looks like it's, you know, moving with him, but it's not super broken. Yeah, I do like character creator, but it doesn't get you out of having to resculpt some stuff. That is always going to be part of the workflow, no matter how you do your posing. But that's why we work in subdivision levels, so that it is really easy to do without completely losing all of your fine details. I'm actually going to move this a little bit up. And I'm gonna move his beard over just a little bit here in a second. So that it's not defying gravity. Kind of want to move these two corners a little independently of one another. So that it kind of looks like they're a little drapey. Rather than just one big block of fabric. I did make this whole thing quite thick, but I think that it will end up looking fine. I'm just so over thin little surfaces that struggle to print well. But I'm just moving these little pieces apart so that there's just a little bit of separation in how they move, so that it looks like the different little parts of this cape are moving somewhat independently of one another, because I think that will help give them a little bit more movement. And then I kind of fudged the geometry on this a little bit, so I am gonna kind of squish this around so that it looks right. And you can't tell that there's problems with it. It'll all decimate down fine, but I really wanted this like kind of cut up look. But the geometry for that is hard to do cleanly. I should have just used a boolean for it, but I didn't. I was trying to be fancy. I might actually squish this all up a little bit and make it a little less long. Just a tad. Yeah, I think that's better. And then I'm gonna put the cape back. Oh, I love this guy. Look at him go. Okay, the cape I think is the last big thing. Other than, actually, let me do the beard real quick before I forget. think all it needs is a little tweak here. Just so that it's not pointing like straight out from his face. I know that like it's a beard, it doesn't have like a ton of movement, but I want it to just look like it's going with the direction of the curve. Quick save in here. Alright. I'm gonna move this just a little bit. Hey, Mikael is here. Thanks for popping in, buddy. How's it going? My art is going pretty well. I'm working on this guy. What do you think of him? Just, I did the posing just now. And so I'm just going through and kind of making some, doing some, re-sculpting after the pose. Just kind of make it all look finished. He looks neat. Thanks! He is a gnome wizard. Which is apparently a really popular race and class combination. Which I didn't know, but then I looked up some pictures of it and realized that that's dope. His hair kind of is a little being over overshadowed by this cape here, but I don't super care because I think the cape looks really good. I made a feathered T-Rex today. Nice. Did you drop it in our group chat? I haven't been paying super close attention as I've been live. Some sick shit. Dude, I love putting funny little accessories on funny little guys. And yeah, I'm really excited for when I start doing my work on my familiars and beasts project, because I'm really excited to make the dinosaurs. I just think that's going to be super fun, and I've been listening to Dungeon Crawler Carl, and I love Mongo, who is a pet velociraptor. And I gave my wizard lady from the other day some sick shades. She looks so cool. I really like how she turned out. But yeah, I've been chilling on this live for a couple hours now. I ran into some issues with TikTok and I just gave up. I just stopped my stream on there. It just kept ending the live on me, and I'm not really sure why. So I'll do a little bit of research as to why that is happening eventually. But for now, I'm just washing my hands of it for today. Excellent. Yeah. So yeah, I feel like this guy has got some pretty good movement going on. I'm just working on this cape, and then I think he'll pretty much be wrapped up. TikTok is what? Yeah, and like, I don't know, I was streaming through what is it? Stream Elements, their like multi-stream feature, and it was able to get me live stream access without a stream key. So my guess is it has something to do with how that whole setup for me is kind of bootlegged. And it's just like, I don't know if it's kicking me or what, but it probably has something to do with that. But the other ones seem to be working fine for today, so we do what we can with what we've got. Miguel, have you had any luck? I noticed you streamed earlier today. Did you have any luck using that playlist that I sent you? I'm curious to know if that was useful. It feels good. You know what? Whatever finds you a brief moment of joy amidst the chaos and the horrors. Yeah, suppose. Good. Good, good. I'm glad. I like that it's kind of long. It's like 6 hours or something. So I don't have to feel like I'm listening to the same stuff constantly. I've only had it start over on me once, and that was because I was kind of vibing to it for like an hour or so before I started streaming. Oh my gosh, I love this guy. This cape is so fun. It really just polished off the whole look. I'm gonna go prep some ribs for dinner. Yum. Can't even remember the last time I had ribs. That sounds great. I am getting dinner with my sister tonight. And then we're gonna go watch Wicked. And it will be like the third time I've seen it in theaters. Instant classic, if you ask me. Did you end up seeing it, Miguel? If you haven't, you should. It is one of a very few number of movies that I've actually like purchased and own, as opposed to just like relying on streaming services to have it. That's mostly because I wanted to watch it before it was really available to stream. So I bought it on Prime, Amazon Prime. And I got the version with all of the cast commentary available. So I need to watch it with all of that turned on because I've heard it's really cute. ZBrush, please don't crash. Okay. One nice thing about having this little cape on top of the cape is that I can kind of fudge the fabric folds at the top here and not have them be super polished where they originate. One thing I tend to struggle with fabric folds is having the like creases at the top where the folds originate look super good. Just because you really have to dig in with your brushes and it's just difficult to get that to be looking like smooth and also deep enough. So I like doing this where I just pretend that they are there. Then I get to be lazy. And it still looks good. I'm gonna kind of soften this edge a little bit. It's looking quite sharp, and it doesn't really need to. Alright, folks. I might give him 1 or 2 little rings. And then I'll probably call it a day on this model. This hat really ended up being high poly. But it is definitely worth it for those little ornament alphas. Okay. Well, I'm gonna move this sleeve just a little bit here so it's not cropping through the stuff on this belt. It's a little bit of a shame that the stuff on the belt ended up basically getting entirely covered up by the sleeve, but not enough of a shame that I want to fix it. Alright. Here we go. I think... Oh, I was gonna give him rings. Gonna do the old duplicate the body and get rid of the subdivision levels. AMM brush. And rather than deform this hand, which is gonna need a little bit of resculpting now, that I'm looking at it, I'm just gonna make this a little skinnier. Hmm. Okay, I might actually get rid of this one for a minute. Because before I put any rings on these fingers, I need to fix them a little bit. They're kind of broken. Not too bad, but I need a little bit of work done. Okay. I think that looks pretty good. I wish I could twist this finger a little easier. Let's just try this. All right. Okay, now we will make our duplicate and put some rings on it. Use our little cylinder pipe. I like this one because when it subdivides, it doesn't go... It just subdivides really nicely. Might just give him a little thumb ring. Oh yeah, looking good, King. I'm not gonna bother with one on the other hand. It's holding on to the book. It's got stuff to do. I'm gonna kind of move it a little bit though. How are these fingers looking? They're only a little bit broken. Sorry, I know you can't see on OBS, but it is trying to crash right now, and I'm just trying to wait it out. Close character creator, see if that frees up a little bit of space here. There we go. Again, these fingers aren't too broken, but I am going to fix them a little bit. Just in an effort to be meticulous. Alright. I'm gonna put a little ruby on here. Rip Bad King. You were one of the greats. I got this brush for free from that website. I'm pretty sure they don't exist anymore, which is such a shame. But if they do exist, then I have never been so happy to be wrong. Alright. I think I can get rid of this. So I just need the rings now. Nice. Alright, here he is. I think that this model turned out so well. I'm so happy because he ended up being just coming really easily, which was really nice. The last model I made, the Fire Genasi Wizard, she ended up looking good, but it really ended up being kind of a challenging model, and I just was not in super high spirits the whole time I was making that. So I'm happy that this model kind of came a little easier and just ended up looking good. So yeah, I think I might actually end the stream here on a high note. Feeling pretty good about it. And yeah, this has kind of been a stream of technical difficulties, so I appreciate anyone who stuck around, and yeah, I will see you next time.